He texted me.
He did. I gave him a yeshikayach. He got recognized.
You didn't get anything? Because technically it's your shidduch.
It's my second shidduch.
Oh,
Dude, this guy over here.
Wow.
You and Ahuva, like, who's next? Who's next?
Competing with her.
Okay.
Ahuva.
We're ready.
Samisti?
No, Shandelman.
Okay.
Holy shit. Okay, we're going to start. Oh, you're going to do the ad after.
Nobody talks, nobody talks, nobody talks Shidduchim. This is the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 54, Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. Avery, I am back. All right, that one-way ticket to Afghanistan was totally like you got me.
I thought you'd stick around. You do well with the Taliban. They don't like women. They don't, children. They don't like children.
10 minutes later. Sorry for offending the people of. Anyway.
Yeah.
So episode 54, Hashkafa Part 2. My say. No, it's we're naming this episode "Fantastic Hashkafas and How to Find Them." Yeah, it's going to be really cool. So last episode, I thank the Lasters for filling in. Avery, you did an amazing job. You were the official trash picker-upper. What did you do in the last episode again? I'm just kidding. Avery, thanks for filling in. You did a great job. In this episode, we're going to continue on in Hashkafa. I'm joined here, Avery, and we have Meghan. Welcome, Meghan.
Thank you.
We'll be getting to the topic momentarily, right after a
commercial break.
A commercial break. Wait, I wrote something.
I should do your job for you.
You know, you can do this. Like we
I'm in
sell
PA
the
school,
rights.
I'm on like 5-hour energy right now.
Wait a second, I wrote something really.
5-hour energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I chuck it like water.
Wow.
Oh, that was great timing. The train.
I know. I thought that was you.
Trainsy's here.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait for that train to move.
Definitely.
Oh, you can literally get it right here. It's like outside your door.
Oh, it's right here, right behind me. Okay.
Huh.
Anyway. All right, Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast, episode 54, Hashkafa Matters Part 2. And I want to welcome, I wrote both of you an unbelievable, like, hashkafic write-up for your, potential shidduch resumes. So I'm going to introduce my man, Rachel. Oh,
Why am I a man?
we'll do the one again. I can say your name. Okay, we're back. Episode 54, Hashkafa Matters Part 2. And I wrote you both a hashkafic, like, shidduch write-up. I hope you enjoy it. I'm gonna read it to you now, okay? And we're gonna introduce you to the world as well. Meghan.
Yeah.
I'm introducing, ladies and gentlemen, our first one of our favorite co-hosts of the evening. She doesn't just wait 6 hours between milchigs and fleischigs, but she actually waits 6 days. The only time she has listened to Goyish music was at the audiologist's hearing exam.
And on the way over.
And her shaitel is so long that we consider it a burqa. Ladies and gentlemen, Meghan is here.
What an introduction.
I love it. And last time, my villain, the main host here, all right, 6'4". He has been on the shidduch. He's been on more shidduch dates than Tiger Woods himself. His black hat at his bar mitzvah was a black cap from the Colorado Rockies picture of 1999. And his favorite Slurpee flavor is unicorn candy, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Avery Steen. Oh, it's Meghan loves it. She's excited now. Avery's like,
thinks he's Greg Gutfeld.
Did not know that flavor
That's how I thought I was.
I know,
That's
it's
exactly
great.
what I thought I was.
I know.
Okay, anyway.
Funny.
So we're back here. Hashkafa Matters. I wanted to discuss a little bit more than last episode. I felt like it was, Hashkafa, la-di-da-di-da, everything's okay, you're hashkafic. No, you had some amazing points. I'm not gonna, no discordance there. But I wanted to get more to some other things that we came up, especially because we like this as a two-parter. So, Hashkafa, we label it, we box it and we subject the hashkafic orientations out here. Just because we do this, it doesn't mean that there's less to a person than what there actually is. We know that people are worth more, have more, and there's an entire story behind them. But in Shidduchim, it's important to identify where you stand on things, what's important to you, what's important to bring up, what should be brought up, and what we may just be okay with, rather than this is the law and there's nothing else you can do about it. So Avery, tell me, Hashkafa, I want us to defy it, like exactly what we're thinking of when you're talking about the Hashkafa.
Okay, what's your
what is it to you when Shachan brings it up, the girl brings it up, Hashkafa? What's your initial response there?
Hashkafa is, like everything else, a personal decision. It's the things that you, the actions you take based off of the values that you have. So, to me, Hashkafa is important, but it doesn't really take out much of, it doesn't take up much of my time in the thought process of dating, at least not as much of time not as much time thinking about, is this person a healthy, normal subjective.
What's normal?
But is this person healthy? I'm not normal or healthy. So like, what does that mean? But is this person normal? Is this person a good person? And so the fact that my Hashkafa leans more right wing or left wing or no wing, does that really take away from
That's on
who
the topic
person
list?
is? It doesn't really take away much in terms of value to me.
So you don't really think
in
about
terms
it.
of person. I don't think of it
That's
as much. But there are stereotypes, like I said last episode, there are some stereotypes that are stuck in my head.
Right.
Like a girl who comes from a YU more modern background, I will put them in a box in a certain place. Whereas a girl who grew up in a similar background to me, which is more right wing, Heimish type, to define it, it will be more comfortable to get to know them. It'll be the dating process.
I feel like if someone said to me, like, what's Hashkafa, my head automatically goes to the list. Maybe because I'm not a new dater, but like only like 2 or 3 years, that it goes like TV, like we talked earlier, movies, like the Hashkafa, like davening, the good stuff, like davening, just like that checklist. I don't really think of like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like Hashkafa very much is like a list to me. Maybe it's
a list. I like that. Right.
It is a list. You have to check it off.
It's a list to check off. I hear that. I mean, I want to be, I guess, like sensitive to people who still believe in the Hashkafic. That Hashkafa matters, let's say.
Well, what's Hashkafa to you that you have to believe or not believe in it?
Right. So that's a good question. So I think I'm definitely on this similar page with Avery here, who that's like the last thing I'm judging at this point where I am.
True.
I want to know, like, what's my vibe with this girl? What's she like? Does she smile? Does she laugh? Is she kind? Chesed. Well, chesed.
You care about
kindness.
personality.
Yeah, personality is very big, because I think we're at the end of the day, like we're constructed the way we're constructed, and we're raised, by nature, by nurture. Our innate intent is there, and it's going to come out a certain way.
Right. And
like the last thing on my mind I know that I really have control over, the last thing is someone else's Hashkafa. I'm more in charge of the way they act. Like I can give hints like, to her, like, wow, like I like when you say these nice things to me, or I like if the way you dress like that, but for like Hashkafa, like your connection to God and the way you practice it, it's very far, I
think that's a gender thing though, because for girls, the reason why we care so much about the Hashkafa is because this is the person who's going to set the tone of how the Yiddishkeit is going to play out with the kids, and how they view Torah and how the home's going to be built. But you guys care more about the smiling and the kindness, which correlates to being a good mother. So if you really think about it, it's just the gender that's how you view the Hashkafa.
Gender thing, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I would push back and say there have been dates that I've been on that I literally was like, I'm coming in, can I marry you? Is there potential?
Oh, the girl was doing that.
Well, I was doing that also. And now I take it from a different perspective. Like, that's not on my mind and at like the forefront of what my thoughts are. I'm just like feeling the person out. Will it work? Are we okay? Is it comfortable?
Right.
And you can definitely ascertain a plethora of
big word
hashkafic nuances from just one date, one conversation. And I don't think it should hold people back. You can get an idea from a resume, but I am very into labels, and I think labeling people has kind of lost its flavor in a sense, because it's important to know where you stand. On my job, at where you are during the day, right? Avery is, like, we're identified. Are you a manager? Are you a director? Are you an intern?
I think the
and then
labels have
from
become,
there, you do other things.
But I think I don't think they've just gone blurry.
They gotten very blurry.
I don't think it's a bad taste. It's blurry.
Yes.
So like what I think is Martin Yeshivish, you might not think it's Martin Yeshivish at all.
Exactly. I think so I would want to identify them also, because you have conservadox, you have
Reform.
They're not even in, like,
They're not in the picture.
we're just talking about, like, Shidduchim, American Jewish dating, Orthodox Jewish, because, like,
well, there's Orthodox and
not,
Machmir.
right, like, unorthodox is great show, and by the way, everyone watch it. Was that the show? I don't know.
No.
A different show?
Horrible show.
Which is the one with your girlfriend, Avery?
Don't give them the. Don't put them on air. Don't give
What?
them. Don't give them the airtime.
Don't give them the airtime. I agree.
Please.
Basically, you have non-orthodox, maybe you want to say traditional, like, that has all that. But here we're like identifying, like, there is a conservadox branch of Orthodox Jews that are, like, conservative, they're Orthodox, they're mixed things. We have friends who eat we have friends who eat out dairy, friends who eat out fleischigs, but you wouldn't know. They look like a frum guy, and you wouldn't know anything about them. You have modern Orthodox lenient. You have modern Orthodox middle of the road. You have modern Orthodox machmir, and then I'd say you have modern yeshivish. You have
I laugh at the middle of the road people. Like, pick a side. Like, what are you? Let's go make a decision in life.
Yeah. So I love
what
that.
Is this?
Avery, I will tell you what it is.
Yeah, go.
There are certain things that you really cannot change at the end of the day. And I remember one of my Rebbeim was talking about this, just like every few shiurim he brings it up.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, I don't like when the Bachrim use this word. I'm going to say it once just so they know what it is. And the word describes a young Bacher who comes from a more modern, worldly background and now wants to be frum in the community, and he wants to practice Yiddishkeit. They call him a Harry.
I was gonna say it earlier.
You knew it.
I
like
knew what
Harry.
it is. I just learned it.
I love that name, Harry. The Shid baby is gonna be named Harry. Like, this is how it is. But yeah, Harry's. I mean, that's at the end of the day, you cannot change. Like, if you are born, there are certain just characteristic traits, physical aspect. I don't know, certain things about a yeshivish person that a modern person, a modernish person, like, just won't have.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's a mix of the hair. It's how you dress. It's the way you talk. It's the way you think. Bunch of things. Priorities for sure. But, like, there's some things you just can't change. And, like, I think in terms of Shidduchim, one of the first things is, like, the resume. Like, you can't change where you went to school.
Right.
Like, as someone who's in his late 20s, I'm dating girls who are, I'm saying not now, but at some point I was dating girls who were still very from Beis Yaakov type, wanted to be really machmir. They identified as, like, modern Orthodox machmir, or even modern, or even yeshivish machmir. And they, like, never went to a Beis Yaakov in their life. And I'm like, how could you do that?
Oh, so they are Harrys.
They're basically
Harriets.
That's what that is.
They're Harriets. Oh, we just made a new term. Anyway, so we made a new term. It was very apropos though. It was perfect.
Okay.
So I like labels. I like labeling people, but of course, like, at the end of the day, I know that there's more to a person than that. Megan, does that sound fair?
Yeah, it does.
Labels are relative. Meaning you're relating it to, it's a way for people to just relate to the other people in other ways. It happens in personality. It happens in Hashkafa. It happens with regard to looks.
Oh.
In every which way,
the
label
door?
comes in. I'm opening the door.
That was a whole other episode.
That's its own episode. But in every which way, the label comes in terms of relative. You want to find out if somebody's loud. You call up the reference, and the reference says, well, is this person, do they talk?
Yeah.
Oh, they're very quiet. Well, quiet compared to somebody else may not be that quiet.
Exactly.
Compared to who they hang around. Right.
Yeah,
Are they good looking?
So true.
Well, they hang around people who look like Elmer Fudd all day. I don't know.
Well, beauty's an eye of the beholder.
Beauty is also in the Bible. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are they good looking? Are they from? Well,
You would ask someone if they're good
what
looking?
is your from? Would I ask somebody if they're
On
good
a
looking?
reference, you're like...
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Well,
I'm not
because
a
it's a Hashkafic
sociopath.
episode, he would ask, are they good
I'm not a
looking
sociopath.
Hashkafa?
Yeah.
Do they have a good looking Hashkafa? Oh, that makes sense.
Now, no, but what is important to understand, I think, and this can be brought into our yeshivish listeners, our from listeners, our fromer listeners, and our more modern listeners, is like, what is their outlook on life? What is your outlook on life? Is it
But
the
can
fact?
you know so young, though? That's the thing. You know, when you're so
Well, it's an
young,
investment. It's an investment.
and it doesn't matter what age you are. I think, I'd always tell people, it's like three things. Age is a little bit of a factor, but the other two primary is like maturity and experience, right?
100%.
You have that, you can make such a very long impacting decision.
I think age is just a number. I mean, as the younger one in the group, I just feel like...
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Just
As
from my
banal
own...
as it is.
From my own experience and just from dating, I feel like that has matured me a lot and changed my outlook in life. I feel like if you ask me, 21-year-old me, 20-year-old me, what I was looking for, total opposite of what I'm looking for now. But I feel like that happens to everyone. It's just a matter of when is it going to switch.
Yeah, but it happens to the married people too.
Well,
Like that's
that's
why.
all too late.
Well, yeah, it's too late. But I've spoken to many married people, and while they're dating, they do certain things that they wouldn't do, and then when they're married, things change with regard to shomer. It changes how much they
many
learn,
guys
how
do
much
we
time they
know?
spend learning.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you
No
see a
one
completely
stays the
different
same.
person, a
No.
completely different couple.
Nobody
100%.
stays the
It's a
same.
different couple.
And that's why it's such like an antiquated approach for me to like what's the Hashkafa? It's
Right.
because you don't know
Specifically,
you don't
you
know
mean-
how are you going
Yeah.
to actually be when you're working all day or they're working all day or you're in school and they're supporting you and then
Right.
you have kids. It's so ambiguous. Like everything's going to shift dramatically from where you were. And again, like I know this is it's very banal kind of approach to it, but this is the reality of it. I would say, I wrote down here, like, are you really going to allow a physical box, or I'm sorry, not a physical, a figurative box to separate you from the person that you can be with for the rest of your life and a happy life in that matter, right? And this is like more specifically think towards TV, which is like the biggest proponent of like the hashkafic line, so like imagine like that this person actually may be for you, actually understands you, gets you, this could be your person, and are you going to allow that risk not to give them a date because the line you drew was with the TV? And you might not be a fan, but if you don't get that, if you don't get it, there could be another way to understand that person. Like they might be watching TV because it's filling a void. It's filling a void.
just an outlet.
They're just looking to kill time.
Such a great example.
Avery,
My
go ahead.
cousins back in the day. My uncle was a rebbe in one of the big yeshivas. They didn't grow up with a TV in their house. But every time they would come to my house, my cousins, they would start
happens to me
watching
too, yeah.
everything.
Addicted.
I'd be watching Drake and they'd be like, "What's this show? I
Yeah.
love it." And then they ended up sneaking to watch their own stuff. And
an
now
addiction.
of course it's an addiction. They loved it. They couldn't get
And
enough.
you're like, let's go play. Like, no TV.
Right, I'm like, oh, let's go outdoors. Let's have a catch. They're like,
Yeah.
no.
And
This
they're
is
like,
this TV
no.
thing. This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's like they discovered fire. So like we would, and then now they all have
Amazon
TVs in
Fire.
their house.
Remember
They
that?
don't care. They
For
watch
sure.
Netflix more than I do. Like,
More
I didn't
than
even
you,
care.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even watch this stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, did you see the new Outer Banks episode? I'm like, no, I don't even know
Outer
what that
Banks?
is. I have no idea.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I figured.
It's insane.
I feel like that has to do with a lifetime of not being allowed, and they finally tried, and then they're like, let's go all the way in.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, that's also a possibility. Like literally, if you're someone who doesn't want to date someone with a TV, why is it? And I, by the way, our audience is very, very smart audience. I know, so we're not just referencing a TV. Like we understand it's a screen today.
Yeah.
Could be in your phone. It could be a Netflix thing. It could be a Hulu thing. You know, that's what it's all about. Optimum, Cablevision, whatever it is, Verizon, okay, Roadrunner.
HBO Max.
I think like there's a little bit difference here. So like, why would you not be open to understanding, where that television is coming from? Is it to escape from from or reminisce on easier times, right? I think the addiction is not allowing yourself to be with the right person and blaming the TV. And you could have such an amazing opportunity to meet someone who might not need the TV. Like, look, they grew up the way they grew up. Those were different times. Right now, it's like there's real separation. You have TV, you don't have TV. But back then, it was like tricky. They used to hire a dean. The yeshivas would hire a dean of television seeking, and they would go into people's houses. Avery, you remember this? And they'd sneak around the house and they'd look for the TV.
Not all the yeshivas. Some of the right wing yeshivas.
That sounds illegal on so many levels.
So is.
I don't think they would sneak in, but
Like through the window with binoculars.
no, but we had in
Not
camp. We also had
kidding.
a mashgiach in camp who would go to the bunks
was
and
the man.
stand outside the bunks and like make sure that kids weren't watching movies. And
I
he used to
know.
call
And
Family
And the
Guy,
stuff
Family
today,
Guy.
Can you imagine?
That was
I think, by the way, interesting like take on this, and I know I'm gonna get like very spiritual here, whatever. But I think like this is the outcome of times like that. And I don't mean anything against that Rav, because that Rav is very special. But those years like Yiddishkeit chased people watching TV in their basement. They should have been out there inspiring. Rabbi Ari Ben Shushan says this very clearly. He goes to Shiurim, he gives shiurs to high school, and he's like, everyone pull out their phones, go on your phones. If I can't make this more serious, if I can't make this more appealing, if I can't make this more attractive, then what's on your phone? What's it worth? What's it worth at 100%?
I like that.
And you're going to lose the audience there. And yeah, so how many guys we know, right? I got that one. And I told that story with the rabbi.
I think also just from my own dating experience, I think this is a stereotype, and you guys are guys, so you'll be able to tell me if not. But guys, some of them, it's not that they don't want to watch TV because of the hashkafa, they just do other stuff instead, and they just don't enjoy it. But like they'll tell the shadchan, if she wants to watch a movie, I'll sit down and watch with her. But it's not like on my agenda. Have you had that before with your friends?
What do you mean by that?
As in, they don't watch movies. They don't enjoy it.
Watch, right? They don't
Not
enjoy
because
it.
of hashkafa, but just because that's not how they
I would say
spend their time.
that's more me. That's more. But I'll watch football. Like that's a different story.
Oh,
So
football
yeah,
is another
sports is
level.
different.
But
That's,
Megan
that's a
was
different
also,
religion that I pray to.
Megan was
Sundays.
also saying there
Sunday
that
God.
yeah, like how do you know just because a guy's not watching TV, and again, we could put this TV side on the side for now, but someone who's hashkafically not really invested in their investments, and what I mean by that is they go to Minyan, they go 3 times a day. There's no connection to God.
Absolutely not.
They don't really daven, but you could have someone who is at home, especially after the COVID world. A lot of guys do this now. I've tried it out. It's getting a lot more during the day, but you're davening at home, and it's like it's such a different experience. It's a nice experience, better than shul. Maybe you can have a better connection to God. So there is this hashkafic aspect that is mostly to do with famously Denzel Washington. We're going to go to the clip soon. Denzel Washington answering a reporter saying something like, let me get the clip for you, actually. This is going to be really good. 1 second here. I had it on the list, by the way.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You don't have it ready, though.
I my assistant, Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. Amazing. Oh, this is great here. Okay. So we have Denzel Washington
On Broadway through
saying
October 10th
something.
only. A blazingly theatrical, thrillingly.
We have him saying something that I know that we need to listen to in here, and here it is.
So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not
produced this
color.
work?
It's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're
Steven
in a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List.
It's 3 seconds.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but there are cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
right.
So it's a culture.
You know about a hot comb?
Amazing. Culture. This is what he's saying. If it's a cultural difference in Hashkafa, then you got to figure out how to get over it. I don't know. If it's really hashkafic, as in I have more values and I have a lot more invested in my religious, outputs to God than other things. Okay, fine. Then I guess there's probably something to talk about.
No, kind of backpacking on again, piggyback. Why can't I get
I don't
it?
have much to say on that.
Because I have a backpack on.
Well, no, what you were saying about what I was saying about the mindset of what's behind, and then you were saying about the davening, like the whole I'm gonna be from Indian behind why they're doing it. I feel like it has to go again for girls when we say about learning. You know, a guy who learns every single day, but it's like putting on socks, or the guy who does it 2 to 3 times a week, but you know that he actually enjoys it. Like, what do you actually want at the end of the day? And I feel like that has changed a lot for me and for my friends. We were actually recently discussing it, that instead of asking for someone who learns every single day, like kovetim, what does that even mean these days? That's the meaning is, unnecessary, but the asking of the mindset behind of why the guy does it, because that's at the end of the day going to still be there in 30 years when he's no longer learning because he's on the couch drinking a beer. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes. I like that. So I like that. You think are you seeing it a little bit more prevalent today, like with girls, that they're actually they're reconsidering the
I know. I
notion?
think it's a maturity thing. I think once you mature and you go out with quite a few guys, you see what you're actually looking for when it means learning, like the every single day, the actual saying it, or what, like why they want to do it behind it.
So you think you wouldn't have dated somebody who didn't learn every single day?
When I first started dating, no.
You're
Girls are given a script when they come back from seminary. Like, this is what you want.
What is that? What is going on in these seminaries? I want to do a deep dive in one of these episodes.
What's going on in the yeshivas? Because
there's not much.
Not much.
Coffee and wishing there were women there. That's about it. But
no, that doesn't happen in seminary.
Yeah.
No, we're given a list of what we want, and then we come back from it and we're like, okay, this is my list. And then slowly over the years, you're like, I don't need this. Right. I don't even know why that's on the list. And then you slowly kind of break it down to like the core beliefs of what you want. And like what I was saying with Hashkafa and the learning of like, what do you actually want? Do you want learning, or do you want the mindset that you think the learning gives? So
there's this term that comes up often when it comes to people that were in these seminaries, and they come back with their hashkafic values that have changed. And the term is, it's going to be offensive to many of you out there. Don't blame me. Don't blame the messenger. But they're brainwashed.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're brainwashed, and they don't know what is really best for them. They're naive. They're young. Their brains are not formed. They're 18, maybe 18 if they're in seminary, and they're being pushed a narrative to keep Lakewood running. Girls especially, to keep Lakewood running, to keep the Israel apartment process and seminary process going. The parents hate it.
That for sure.
The parents pay for it.
I would kind of Lakewood PMG is a whole other game.
Some would say that this is entire.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
that is being run. I probably go back and forth. I waver on that, but we'll get into the deep dive on the seminaries.
We have to keep the Rebbeim out there.
We do
busy. Yeah, I for sure. I can definitely relate to this.
Paying $25,000 for a year for a girl to go to seminary.
Okay, well, let me flip the table for a second.
To gain what?
To gain a...
To gain a good shidduch.
To gain what? Exactly that. That's one of it.
Well, Avery, you and we went to these yeshivas, and look where we are, okay?
Therapy is later.
I'm
no.
happy with where I am.
Let's flip it for a second. Girls, like I'm talking for the girls, but the girls I was saying how we slowly cut down our list of what we're actually looking for. But what about guys? Like, what have you guys spoken about that you've been like, wait, I don't actually need that? Because girls do that all the time.
Yeah. Good question. My list hasn't, I don't know what's going on over there, but we'll just continue talking. Yeah. My list hasn't changed much since I was younger.
Oh, it hasn't?
It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed.
Interesting.
It's shifted. It's matured.
What is, as in like you're more open to
It's very simple.
things.
It's, I'm open to everything in some ways, but I'm very, certain about it's finding someone that you're attracted to, you think is a nice, easygoing personality.
For sure.
Is on the same level, same growing level in terms of their spirituality,
right?
And they're from Kite, and someone that can, bring me to a better place.
So you're saying your list hasn't changed?
My list has not changed much.
Has yours list changed?
But it's been easier to filter
My
these
shopping
people.
list, yes.
Because of experience, but not because your list is changing. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that girls' lists change and the guys never do.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting, yeah.
Change.
Yours never changed?
Which was this?
The list of what you're looking for that you leave yeshiva thinking, and then later on in life you're like, I actually don't need that.
Yes, that changes absolutely.
To be
that has
fair.
changed for me. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't think about anything to do with dating or
you
marriage.
you were a late bloomer.
Till I was like, a couple years ago. Like, or I didn't even consider it. I'm like
3.5 months ago.
I'm like, no. This is not. Yeshiva was not.
Well,
very wrong.
Well, that
Green.
list should always be changing because there's going to be. You definitely have your 1, 2, or 3 that are always there. No question. But then the rest is changing. Absolutely, totally get it. Getting into my older single years. Like what? Like it literally went from, Rebbitzin, Feinstein to the Rebbitzin of a young Israel to the Rebbitzin of a reform shul to like, anyone with a pulse will do. I love that. That was like such an Avery line right there.
It was.
You're proud of yourself.
I think it could be like very focused on the dates to like be aware, be perceptive of like you can eventually introduce certain talking points and conversations on Hashkafa, like what are your thoughts here and there. I had a friend. I thought this guy was going to get married to this girl, and I felt like there was like a little tumultuous hashkafic, contention. And what ended up happening was like they didn't make it. And I'm like, dude, like, what do you think was the turning point? And he said, I just had to spit it out to her that like I was planning on breaking Shomer, once we got engaged. This was his kind of like, this is what he told me. And I didn't get it until like obviously some time later, but I got it because like, and she was like livid. She was like, oh my God. Like she was livid, like, obviously very apropos because we just did this last episode. So she was like freaked out by this. This was insane. How could he even think? And like, he's just there being honest. So here's a scenario where Hashkafa, well, yeah, there's some things you're not going to be able to move on. And that can actually just destroy the relationship.
Well,
there won't be a future.
So what would you advise people to figure out in terms of their Hashkafa? How would you tell them to get onto the same page?
You can email me and I'll schedule you in for an appointment in my office hours, and we'll talk all about it.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, to avoid this.
the Shomer thing came out of nowhere, probably.
Yeah. To avoid this malfeasance and catastrophe, let's say. If somebody's on the same page and they get upset, and to get it out of the way in the beginning, what's the best way to do it? Is it to just be more clear with Shadchanim? Is it to be on dating apps? What would you tell people?
The Shomer thing wouldn't be told to a Shadchan.
Maybe not. Right. Well, then maybe they wouldn't be shidduch dating if they were in Shomer.
I know a lot of hairy guys who say that they are Shomer, but they're really not. And they will not tell.
I take I take offense to that because like these hairy guys, they wish they could have an opportunity to not be Shomer with someone.
Right.
Who's giving them the opportunity to not be Shomer? Come on. But seriously,
that's so true, by the way.
Yeah, like we make it seem like it's so easy. Like, oh yeah,
I know.
You're Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, it's easy, but seriously,
I know these girls. Yeah, like, what do I know? What's the lady's response to this? Like,
No.
we were just talking about this on Holy Shit's Hub. Like, like every girl was like saying, "Oh, guys are such players. They cheat on other." Where are you finding these Jewish guys?
Where?
Girls are saying they cheat.
The guys cheat. They two-time.
I'm right here. They know where to find
They flirt
me.
with everybody. Like, what Jewish guys are you talking about? Megan, do you come in contact with guys like this?
I have.
And have you found someone who's like hashkafically, like, right on par, machmir, all the above on the black hat list, but at the same time, he's a total player.
Yeah, I have. I do know.
Fooling around.
No, I know guys.
What? Who? Tell me who. Tell me what is that? I want to call him up right now.
My Mora is screaming in my ear. No, absolutely not. But I
What makes a better podcast than Lashon Hara?
Mora.
all of the hot. No, but I do know
Should
guys.
be called the Lashon Hara podcast. We'll do another one.
I know guys who are.
Let the lady talk, Avery. Okay.
Yeah, let me talk.
I don't like to do that.
I know guys who do daf yomi and do the whole shebang, but talk and text to many girls at the same time, all the time. I see that, and it's disgusting, and it's a huge turnoff.
So
for
that's
girls.
I like that. I'm happy you brought that up. I think this is more of a sentimental approach in my personal experiences rather than what should be accepted as the status quo or the conventional wisdom. But at least they're still in the fight. At least they're still fighting, to be either one. Yeah, maybe they want to be the frum guy. Maybe they want to be the cool guy. As my Rebbe would say, the stark guy is the cool guy, and the bag. But maybe they still, and that's the battle. There was a guy in the Jewish community, young guy, died a few weeks ago. Sorry to bring such sobriety to the show, and I remember, like, at some point way in the past that this happened also to someone I knew, and I just took a breath of air and I thank God, I thanked Hashem that at least I still have the battle. At least I'm still in the fight. And I think that's
You're saying
where
it's okay
men,
for what he does as long as he's still doing daf yomi?
oh my, you know what? You're like, just
What was the point of what you were
enjoy
saying?
those cats. I'm kidding. My point is, she's like the way. I'm here for you, Megan. So
Horrible,
Avery's
wow.
here. Avery's here for you.
I feel like I'm Maury right now.
Maury.
So,
But look, Megan, the thing
Take a
is like
step back
this.
from
At
each other.
least you have to think like this. Is like, what is the alternative here? Do you think a guy like that is going to be cured?
No. I think a guy like that
So
doesn't
where's he
want to
going
get
to
married.
go? He's going to go. Like, the next step for him
He's going to go talk to
is
more
like,
girls.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but after that, like at some point you burn out. It's over. Like now this guy is like, he's just
RJ, you're talking from experience.
he's at the Kumsitz and he's like 40 something or he looks 40 something. He's like
With the
20. He's
beard.
23, but he looks 40 something. He's like talking to the married host's wife, like thinking he's gonna score. My heart goes out to a guy like that.
Yeah, dabach.
Megan, you've done this before?
No, what? No. Not for it.
Okay, fine. Avery, you have a lot to say on this one.
No, I didn't really follow where you
Follow
were going
along.
there.
But I think I was just trying to call out the girl side here, like where oh well, it's wrong because this guy he's from and his hashkafic values are on point, but he's flirting with this guy, this girl, and that girl, and it's like, come on, man, like what else, what more do you want? But anyway, let me get back into identifying hashkafas. So I wanted to discuss this black hat situation because you guys touched up on it lightly. Okay, Avery,
We did.
Yes.
I now learned. Now, I always knew that you had a black hat. I had a black hat, ladies and gentlemen. IJ had a black hat. Yeah, I think a black hat is a real symbol in the culture, and this is something that women are just, like, not kidding you, sexually attracted to.
It's true.
They're just sexually attracted to a black hat.
It is.
And it has nothing to do with how from the person is, how not from the person is. We just, again, not to be, banal and repeat this, but how many guys they wear the black hat, they take it off right after the wedding, they wear the black hat to the strip club, whatever it is, But it's so clear that it's about what Denzel was saying earlier. Denzel, our newest guest. It's about the culture. It's about the culture. Avery, anything else? Meghan.
Yeah.
What's your perception on guys with black hats?
As in, would I want someone with a black hat? Or you're just saying, like, what's my view on it?
Yeah, what's your view on it? Tell us.
Well, first of all, I feel like black hat has lost its, like, purpose of showing that someone's, like, yeshivish, because I feel like all guys wear it now. Yeah. Also, now there's the style, there's the feather, the up, the down. Yeah. There's a lot to it I'm learning. Yeah. Yeah. I just think I think I'm going to speak for girls. We're going to be, like, straight out. It's just cute. I don't really think
cute.
Yeah, that's literally it.
I like that.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, I'm gonna start wearing mine again.
Here's where my mentality is on hats and such other Jewish,
attire,
paraphernalia and attire. Yeah, it's a status and a label. Now, where I differ from other people who do not wear black hats and are not in that black hat community. Where I differ from them is that I believe that if my kid, my child, wants to go into Kollel and learn and is sincere about it and wants to become a black hat type of child, I will 1,000% support him in that path.
Okay.
Whereas other people in the modern community, this is where I differ from the more modern Orthodox community, when their kid decides that they want to put on a black hat and become frummer and go down that path after their epiphany in Israel, where they, they're obeying, brainwash the cult, yeshivish, the learning, whatever it is, whatever we want to call it, that's up for debate. But whatever happens, some of the modern people will start having real family chaos, real attacks, battles about, you can't go, you need to become a lawyer, you need to become your accountant. And I don't believe in that. I believe, again, that the kid can choose. And it's his choice to make it right as long as they're sincere about it. It's not something that I don't have one path for my children.
But you agree
I guess that reflects on me because I don't,
You don't.
I don't really put myself in a box of a community here or there. I actually like all the communities. Yeah. Except for the people from Inwood. I don't like them. But I like all the communities.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to do the same thing with jeans.
I love that.
With the hat and the jeans of like
jeans. Yeah, she's right.
Does that actually correlate with someone's from level? And it gets me mad when my friends are like, he can't wear jeans. I'm like, you're wearing the dude, not the jeans. Chill.
Right.
But I feel like it's the same thing with the hat of like it's created like people think it means they're from her, but in reality they're all Harrys behind the jeans and the hat.
We were just hanging out with these KMR types, KMR cruises. Remember that guy, that show? He was on Fleischig's.
Ooh, Fleischig's.
I don't know.
He did.
Plug him.
He did the voice. Greenspan.
Oh,
Greenspan.
Yeah, that's your guy.
Okay.
That was your guy. I never listened to him.
He's the man.
I didn't get into that.
Anyway,
too Jewish for me.
KMR cruise. No, literally, like we were hanging with the other day. Last Motzei Shabbos, Pops, right? Long Beach. He's like these KMR cruise type guys. Black hat types, but they were wearing jeans. Yeah. I see that when you get older. Like, they're guys who, like, they're black hat type, but then, like, the jeans come on. They want to try it out. It's just so... It's just looking back at it all, it's just it's so stupid.
It is.
It's like, come on, like we're grown-ups here, like we're people, like we're multi-dimensional. Well, at least I am. Yeah. We're multi-dimensional here. Okay, last few topics. Also, I want to get to, I think, Avery, you brought this one up. I don't think we got to last time. The Zionistic thing,
Ooh.
that, like, this is such a hashkafic, separation here. Like, you can have, like, oh, you Zioni, da 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 da. Like, you'll never see someone like that, like, who's so Zioni and Zionistic and into Israel, and we need to educate, and we need to donate to ZOA, or ZOW, whatever these organizations are called. And, like, they end up with, a from type, or they end up with whatever, the other type. But, Avery, you would date someone who's a Zionist, a proud Zionist American?
I doubt it. I probably would be with that guy from Afghanistan, the 67-year-old guy. Like I lean on his side. I'm with that guy.
I forget what they all do.
By the way, he's
There you go. This is the one.
somehow he's gonna get a shit off before me. You know that, right? But
That guy. Yeah. Oh my god.
But,
Yeah, he will. Yeah,
he will. He was
As
in the
Shidduchim
band.
guy said, yes.
Yeah, it's true. But Zionist, I don't plan to move to Israel. I don't have a fervor for Israel. People talk about Israel as if Israel is one of their first loves.
I know.
And
Yeah, I
I don't
know.
speak
Chill,
of
man.
Israel.
I'm
Like,
so
Israel's
bemused
good.
by the.
I like it. It's a good place to visit.
Good shawarma.
But it doesn't. I don't have a poster of Israel in my room.
Yeah.
I don't swear by it. I don't pray
Right.
to it. I mean, I do pray to it,
Yeah.
to God, but I don't.
So stuff,
It
yeah.
didn't. It doesn't thrill me.
No, yeah. Same.
Nice, but not thrilling.
I don't think
Like
I would
these
either
people.
date someone who's Zionistic. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Right.
Yeah. It's a great place
Yeah.
to visit.
It's a great. Yeah. I mean, I get the whole Zionistic approach, and I'm definitely someone who's a fan of it. Go ahead and do it, but I'm not like a follower, diehard follower. I don't know. I'm someone I just do my own thing, but I do enjoy each little sect of Yiddishkeit. You have the Nanach, you got the Lubavitcher, you have the Zionistic people,
Mhm.
black hat, no hat, white cat,
Right.
pink bat.
Well, IJ, if you dated somebody
that's
that
where it
was
goes.
open to moving, and you knew they were open, would you still continue to go out with them?
For her, yes. I mean, yes.
But would you really still go out with, like, you would continue a relationship if you knew that somewhere in the back of their mind they have this?
Well, in the
Israel.
beginning, no. In the beginning, it was definitely a no. It was a make or break for me. Now, yeah, look, it's about
You're
the
talking about a
person, I
specific personal thing.
You would
that
go to
happened.
Israel. I would not. It's a deal breaker for me.
think. At one point in time, it was a breaker, but now, no. Like, if for the right girl, I would uplift you don't get it. You get this chance. Like, look at Makeup by Paulina. Like, this guy she got engaged to is from, I don't know, United Kingdom. So this is this happens, this stuff. Goldie's friend. So
Well, they're talking about
it's
Goldie
amazing.
because her husband's not from here.
And her husband also from
Australia. South
Australia.
Africa.
Like
Oh my God.
one of those.
One of those places.
Like this is very this is wow. Like
Yeah.
you see the commitment.
Honestly, I'd be
there. You have
frightened to
make
move
it.
to today's Israel with all the lockdowns and with the way that their government is run. It's just
crazy.
it's beyond. It's
So just
Autocracy.
a few last questions here, but is how you observe Shabbos an hashkafic difference, right? Let's say how you set the Shabbos table, going swimming. Wife holds of the eruv, she doesn't hold of the eruv. Good Shiloh.
yeah.
So you say yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It is a good child. What are you asking me? What I think somebody should do? Is that
Well,
what
on
you,
Shabbos, I mean, what are the things you think that would separate two people on Shabbos? Like that hashkafically would be like a real break.
Do they keep it? Like,
how? Well,
No, like these
Well-
examples here, which are awesome, like that I thought of. How you want to
Yeah.
run a Shabbos table,
I
going
think that's it.
swimming,
right to Miros.
right?
swimming on
I've been
Shabbos.
pushed into a pool on Shabbos. Felt good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff.
Yeah, I'll say some things on this. I have some thoughts. So Shabbos table is big. Shabbos table etiquette. Etiquette
Yes.
would be,
Yes.
and the Shabbos
Etiquette.
table atmosphere is big.
Yeah.
They both
true.
go together. You set the Shabbos table atmosphere at your house. The guy sets the tone.
100%.
Guy sets the tone. Girl, you take part in it too.
We cook the food.
But it doesn't mean a guy can't help out and with the Shabbos table and do stuff as well. Help out.
And doesn't mean the guy can't cook either.
Doesn't mean they can't
True,
cook.
too.
Most guys can't cook though.
yeah,
Just
no.
figuratively. We cannot. Literally can't cook.
Yeah.
But
You could cook.
we set the table. We set the tone. So do you want a Dvar Torah every week?
Smearice.
Very important to know. Very important to define that. Do you
Mhm.
want to talk business at the table? Some people would
That's
be
shallow.
totally against it.
All right.
I'm not saying talking business, but like even talking
Yeah.
about something that's not
Politics.
limudei chol,
Mm.
as the
Mhm.
Rebbeim would say, limudei chol at the Shabbos table. Is that
Sure.
okay? What are we discussing? What is the table like? What's the atmosphere?
Yeah.
Zemiros. Is it
For
going to happen?
sure.
Is it not going to happen? Who takes part? Do all the kids take part? So these are things that I would think I have thought about, and I defer to my assistant on setting the tone for the table.
How you doing? No, but
There you go.
Megan, question.
Yes.
like, where should the woman's role be hashkafically there? Because this is something, I guess, that is it set by the man? Is it a joint thing? Like, what if you don't like certain things? Like, tell me a little.
I think when it comes to Shabbos, besides the food, because whatever, we make the food, but I feel like the men do set the tone of how. The second the man walks home from shul, he sets the tone of how it's going to be. What's the topics going to be said? Like, what's allowed? What's not? Are the kids going to be like involved? Are they going to sing? I think it's definitely on the man's shoulder of how a Shabbos table will be run. 100%.
See, the men rule the world.
Okay, don't take it up in context. No.
All right, well, this has been quite the topic. We're going to get to our closing right after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you a newlywed couple or a parent of a newlywed couple? Well, you may have just found your shidduch, but there's another shidduch that our friend Broker Ben can make for you, and that's for your new home. Broker Ben sells houses, rents apartments throughout the tri-state area. He specializes in the 5 towns and Crown Heights. If you need a place to stay for short-term, long-term, to live, and create a house that can build future Shidduchim, reach out to Broker Ben at 516-491-9593, or you can find him on Instagram at the Broker Ben on Instagram.
Okay, and as promised, we have Mrs. Rizal Neymark on the show today. Mrs. Neymark, welcome. We're talking about Hashkafa. Mrs. Neymark is a shadchan, and she has had several children in the shidduch world. She set Avery up. She set me up. She set everybody up. And make sure everyone find Mrs. Neymark out there. So, Rizal, Hashkafa, right? Avery had a few questions for you. He's going to lead you off.
I'm certainly not the local rabbi, but let's see what we have to.
It's not a rabbinic discussion. We're going to start off with having the conversation about what we were discussing. I discussed this a little bit with the last episode, and the question was, how much of a hold do you have to put on things like movies, TV, not listening to Jewish music? You hear it all the time. The girls who come right back from seminary, they come off their spiritual highs. This happened to Meghan, who's sitting here with us as well, and now she's on a different high. Not spiritual.
There's no high left.
There's no high left. How strict are these people, and how is that keeping them from finding their spouse? How is it holding them back?
I don't think it is or isn't. In other words, I think that two people have to be on the same page. If two people, have similar beliefs, it just makes the marriage easier. In other words, if one person wants to have a TV and watch movies and do things that the other one doesn't want to, it's really not a marriage. In other words, people should be on the same page. I don't think, I think most people are looking to find somebody with similar interests. That's really what I think, and I think it's best that way. I don't think it's, a deal maker or breaker. I think it's just that people want somebody that they can, a spouse that they can do things together with, and they don't want separate lifestyles.
So would you say
and it was always like that.
Would you say that a guy, let's say, who doesn't watch movies and a girl who watches movies, you would say they shouldn't go out because they differ?
Well, I would think if a girl is more to the right of a boy, it's doable because women... Okay, there are different things that matter to women and different things that matter. In other words, if a guy is to the right of the girl, it's usually not a match. If a girl is to the right of the guy, a guy will usually will go to the right. If he's a nice husband, they usually try to please the wife. Vice versa, it's much harder. I'm sorry?
I feel like it used to be like that. It's not like that anymore. Girls are much more rigid in what they want. In terms of frumkeit, they want
in terms of they're not willing. In other words, if the guy is less to the right or less frum than they want, they're not willing to put up with him.
Yeah,
right. I guess it
depends. You're saying they want an exact match. I need a frummometer to measure the frumkeit. Is what you're saying?
Thermometer. I love that. Yes, that's exactly it. Exactly it. I think. Look, I'll give. I will definitely throw some shade on the guys where. When they're coming back from Eretz Yisrael, they are doing the same thing that maybe girls, closer in their mid-20s and late are doing, where they have that hashkafic wall up. And Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Avery and Meghan are onto something there.
Elijah, how many friends?
But also,
how many friends do you
years
have?
ago, the movies were cleaner, and we didn't have internet. So years ago, if a guy was watching movies, generally speaking, the movies were cleaner, so the girls would put up with it. In other words, the girls were watching the movies too, but it wasn't as big of a deal. But today, in other words, girls say it's okay for me to do this, but it's not okay for a guy because guys have more ties than women anyhow.
Exactly. You tell him, sister. Exactly.
No, it's true. Girl asks for a lot, but she can't do anything in return. I've seen it a lot. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed what you just said.
No, I was agreeing with you. Girls ask for a whole list of things, but when they ask if they do it themselves, they say, but I don't have to. The guy does. So I'm calling out the girls. They definitely do that.
Yeah.
Right, but but there are things on women that women say, I can do what I want, but I don't want my husband. Women will dress a certain way, and they don't think about that.
Right.
And they expect from guys to uphold certain standards, but which is wrong too. You can't have a double standard. What you want to pin on someone else, you have to upgrade yourself also. So it's really a two-way street, I think.
Right.
Right. Brazil, from a practical standpoint, point of view, would you tell a guy to, if he watches TV and movies, to be upfront with it on a first date?
Absolutely.
Just let the girl know.
You cannot hide. A person should not hide who they are, because then you get married and the truth comes out. And when you base your marriage on a lie, I remember I happen to be a makeup artist, so I do weddings, and I remember a story. After they got married, both of them told me that they lied to each other. They watched TV and movies, and each one told the other one they didn't. I said to them both, it's a good thing you both lied, because they were both on the same page. But if one of them had lied, they would have, expected something from the other. So I think you have to be open and honest. The truth always comes out after you're married. So why not go into it knowing who you're dealing with?
Right. That's true.
Honesty is always the best policy in everything.
Amen.
Is that the reason for the big divide, like you were talking about earlier? The divorce rates and what was going on in the Headlines podcast?
That's not really the whole reason. But when it comes to honesty issues, yes, that is part of it. In other words, somebody has, let's say, mental health issues, or somebody's living a totally different life than they profess to live. It does come into the equation. In other words, when a person gets married and finds out who they're living with, they're not only disappointed, they feel betrayed. So yes, it is grounds for divorce, but that isn't the only reason. That's only a partial reason. There are plenty other reasons.
Right.
And I think if you're honest, somebody has to accept you with the notion of what you see is what you get, and if the person changes, that's great. But I have to know that I'm marrying you the way you are now, and not to expect any different. And if the oldest line in the book is, I thought he would change. Yeah. That's ridiculous, because you're basing it on something that's not true. Nobody changes unless they want to. It doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And people even who promise you they'll change. I know guys will promise a girl, after I get married, I'll do this. After that's not true usually, because people fall into a rut. People get comfortable with each other and they don't do it.
It's true.
If you want to make changes, you have to do it before the marriage so the person sees, an effort. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. I mean, people do grow after they're married, but that's not with the premise that the person married you hoping to change you. That just happens because people do evolve.
Yeah,
but not because you expect it. That's because it came from within, but not because you decided that. And a girl, even one of the things I remember, they were asking, I think, a few of the people on the panel, and they asked, like, if your husband doesn't go to minyan or doesn't do things that, you thought he would do when he got married, should you make that your business? And they said no, because if the guy is a frum guy and he's not going to minyan and he really professes to be who he is, he's feeling bad enough. So I don't think you could be the one to instill that in him. It has to be a rabbi or somebody, a mentor, but it's not the wife. You can't change him. It's not going to happen.
I love that. I love that. And we have one or two more questions left. Short amount of time this time. What do you want to hear as a shadchan setting people up in terms of Hashkafa? Because always the go-to question in terms of Hashkafa is television, right? What do you think is the best way for someone to handle that when a reference is calling or the girl is inquiring? What is the best way?
You mean if the guy watches TV?
Yeah, if there is a
I don't think. I think
difference
people
of
just want to know, the basics of what they're dealing with. I think people should be honest. If a person is doing X, Y, and Z, the person should say, this is who they are. Why would you want to be someone that you're not? Why would you want to marry someone, based on who you're not? I mean, It doesn't make sense to me to want to marry somebody totally different with a totally different lifestyle than you want. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I love it.
I had a guy, I set up, an older single, two singles in the 40s and late 30s, and the guy ended the relationship because the girl didn't want a TV. And then a few weeks later, he asked me to get her back. I said, listen, what do you want from me? You chose, a TV over a wife. How can I bring, you know what I'm saying? You messed it up, not me. I don't think she would have cared. You made a big issue about it. At some point, it's not really the TV. It's just that people want their comforts and are not willing to give them up. And if you want your comforts and the girl wants something else, it's not a marriage.
So kind of piggyback on that last question, would you say that a couple who one person doesn't want to make an aliyah and one does, do you think they should still go out? Because I've heard stories where a guy and a girl, one wants to, one doesn't. In the end, it works out, and then they don't end up going to Israel. So do you think it's
100%. 100%. Young people, I totally agree with you. I had this happen with my own kids. I had a kid come back from Israel, left him in Israel for a long time. He said to me, he only wants to live in Israel. He wants to, and I should make his contingent upon that. I said, absolutely not. I said, I don't run the world. God runs the world. Things happen.
So you would say
anyhow, P.S., I didn't say a word about him wanting to live in Israel. He married a girl. One of my daughter-in-laws would move to Israel in a flash. She'd pack up today, and he wanted to live in Brooklyn, and that is where they live. So God has the best sense of humor. I'm testimony to that.
Nice.
So you're saying they should go out?
Yes, because, and I know many couples, young people say a lot of things, but they don't really know what they're saying because life happens, and nothing is really set in stone. So that's not, if somebody, you never really know. I'm not saying if somebody is very Zionistic and they made Aliyah already and they're already in Israel, but if somebody says, I want to eventually live in Israel, many young people come back from seminary or from yeshiva, and it's just a phase that they go through, and it's not even a lasting phase.
Right. No, it's not.
Right.
So it really depends. If it's somebody who's out there in the dating world, and they've already made Aliyah. I have a guy now that I set up. He made Aliyah. He wants to live there. And there was a girl who's going to school in Israel, but he said to me, she doesn't want to live there. And he does. That's different because he already made his move. But when people just say things, it doesn't always happen because they don't really mean what they say all the time. They think they do. They're not lying. It's just they're not really sure of who they are at some point.
It's true.
People need to find themselves first. People that come back from Israel often did not find themselves.
Yeah, Roselle,
they're very young. Maturity doesn't always kick in.
It's projecting your ideals onto people, and it's wrong. And it's wrong when the people do it. And we appreciate you coming on, and we've seen this a lot. And we want to thank you for your words of wisdom.
And I hope by the end of this year we have everyone married.
Amen.
To the right person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That last part.
Married.
And if they're not married, at least they'll be rich.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last
at least
thing.
they'll be rich because of our government stimulus check. So,
okay. Listen, a new year is coming. God should send everyone what they need and what they want. What they need rather, and what's good for them. Mm-hmm. Take care, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for being with us.
Have a good night.
Be well. Good night.
Okay, and we are back for episode 54, Hashkafa Matters Part 2. This is going to be the lightning round, and then we're going to go to our ending, okay? Everyone's excited. You all know the rules. Generally, we get to discuss everything for as long as we want, but in the lightning round, we get to quick, sharp, witty responses that show our convivial side. So here we are. The lightning round theme is going to be hashkaf with it or hashkaf blah. Hashkaf with it, hashkaf blah. With it means like you're in. Hashkaf blah means you're out, like totally out. Okay, so I'm gonna like blah,
not a
like
thing.
basically
not
no.
Like ew.
Right. Okay, so here we go. And he or she, right? Don't mind the preference, Avery. Okay, so Meghan, he sings out loud at a kumsitz.
That's good. That's cute.
Avery, she sings outside at a kumsitz.
Oh my gosh.
I like it in front of people.
Not for me.
Hashkaf blah.
Very blah. Very blah.
How to come to?
Avery,
Kumsitz people are not my style. They don't shower enough.
Avery, she wears the black hat.
Ooh.
Great. Go for it. Lady Gaga style.
Is that for you? Okay, so you're interested in that stuff. You hear that, all
We
you
love the
kinky
Gaga.
ladies out there?
Yeah.
Meghan, he wears a black hat.
Ooh, yes, all the way.
Oh, wow. Oh, you hear that, guys? All right, taking notes out there. Mayor from the Mayor, you're on, from the Instagram. Yeah, you're listening. Okay, good. Because he's your biggest fan, Meghan. He messages all the time.
I know.
He sets the Shabbos table.
That's cute. I like that.
What's all this cute stuff? Like when they actually do it, they're like,
Right.
sound like.
No, I mean he probably doesn't do a good job, but it's the thought that counts.
Oh, see there you go. See, that's the truth.
It's the thought
so
that counts.
Hashkaf with it. Hashkaf with it.
Yeah, I was at the thing for yesterday.
Avery, she sets the Shabbos table.
As her in a rightful, dutiful place as the female.
Whoa!
I love it. Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
No.
Avery, she
feathers
watches TV upside down.
What does that mean? Upside down TV? She's
bat?
upside down while she's watching TV.
Yeah.
She's upside down while she's watching TV.
If you were only so engaging, like
She'll
when
get
you
quite a
asked the
headache.
Shad Khanim about
That is a
these
yeah,
kinds of girls.
she'll get quite a headache from that.
Okay, so Hashkaf with her or Hashkaf blah?
I mean, that doesn't really mean much in terms of Hashkafa.
Meghan,
So,
how about you?
with that, I have to say, yeah. Well,
Well, you have to say blah or with
blah,
it. Just
I don't know.
Okay.
Just turn it
Meghan,
upright.
he
and, okay.
watches TV upside down.
Blech, that sociopath. No.
So,
Weird.
I figured it'd be something like that.
Yeah.
Not they. And we're up to you, Meghan. Yep.
Yeah.
Meghan, they tell you that they are looking forward to making Aliyah to Bangladesh.
Blech.
See, you can't. This is a lightning
Okay,
round.
got
Thank
it,
you.
okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
They'll make me great shoes. So that's
No, you're
I'm with
humble,
it.
you're
I'm
terrible.
with it.
Okay, well, that was our lightning round,
Bangladesh.
and we're going to be getting to our closing momentarily.
Boom.
Don't you love that tune? All right, everyone. This is another episode of the books, 54. Fantastic or phenomenal. I'm not sure which one I'm going to choose, but fantastic hashkafas and where to find them. It's IJ, it's Avery, Meghan. We're all here. We hope you had a fun time. You can follow us on Instagram at Nobody Talks Shidduchim. You can also email us, nobodytalksshiduchimpodcast@aol.com. As I usually end off, smiley face, happy face, silly face. This is the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast.
And we're
Let me
off.
wing the broker bed ad.
Traveling in a fight on Monday on a hippie trailhead full of zombies. I met a strange lady. She made me nervous. She took me in and gave me breakfast. And she said, "Do you come from a land down under? Where women go and men wonder. Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover."
Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. Thanks for joining us. It's been real. Follow us at @Victor_Wolf. Ouchies Media Network.